Everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. For today's preview, as Wales take on Argentina, and they will be desperate to bounce back from a pretty woeful performance against the All Blacks last weekend, where they were outclassed, it must be said, and just defensively not good enough. And I think frustratingly for Wales, I think at times didn't play terribly, but just became the defense just very porous, and the pack specifically didn't really stand up. And if you look at like sort of the way New Zealand did it, it wasn't necessarily like phenomenal counter-attacking rugby. It wasn't necessarily, all these sort of traditional, very spark, very champagne sort of rugby type stuff from New Zealand. It was very direct, to be honest. And Wales just couldn't sort of physically match up. And that's something that they'll need to change because they're going to be up against a rampant Argentina side who will be buzzing with confidence after bringing down England at Twickenham last weekend. A fantastic performance from them. A world-class team performance from Emiliano Buffelli. And it's an Argentina side, which we know this, though. They can beat anybody in the world. They can also be beaten by anybody in the world. So Wales will definitely look and sit there saying, we've got to respond here. We've got to find a result because Welsh rugby is very much under pressure at the moment, both sort of the international setup, both on the regional side, and a couple of good results will go a long way to sort of boosting the morale. Before we look at the two sides, please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. We'll start with the home side, which is Wales. Not too many changes there. A couple of interesting ones. It's a much more balanced loose trio after we feel. There's no Alan Jones, for example, on the bench, and there's a bit of a change to the the back three as well as a change of flower half as Gareth Anscombe does move back into that. So yeah, I think for me it's a far more balanced Welsh side. I think it looks better on paper, although I do have a couple of question marks over a couple of selections. But in the front row, Gareth Thomas, Ken Owens, Dylan Lewis. I thought Ken Owens was very good last year in a losing cause. I thought he really did show his class. Very physical, very much matched up, worked really hard. In the second row, Will Rodens, Adam Beard, I think will be the future Welsh pairing. And then Dan Lydiard, who was fantastic against South Africa's Ness, Justin Tipuric, and Tlapa Faletau. So for me, a far more balanced loose trio. I think Dan Lydiard coming in there, a more sort of traditional 6-7-8 combo. In terms of, a fetcher, in terms of somebody who's in a line of option, who's a bit bigger, and then Faletau, who's the wrecking ball at 8. Thomas Williams as his partner in Gareth Anscombe. Anscombe was at fullback last weekend, and I don't think they really got the best out of him there. He hasn't played some good rugby domestically, and in place of Dan Bigger, I think he is the next best option, and we need to try and see exactly why that is this weekend. Rio Dye continues on the wing, though. Nick Tompkins, George North in the centres, Alex Cuthbert in the 14 jersey. Louis Rees-Zammit will start at fullback. A very interesting selection there. Not somewhere we're used to him playing. And he'll very much be tested under the high ball. And it'll also be interested to see how his kicking game gets utilised against Argentina. Then off the bench, Ryan Elias, Rodri Jones, Sam Wainwright. We then got Ben Carter, Jack Morgan, Kieran Hardy, Reece Prieston, Owen Watkins. A decent bench. And a couple of nice players across there. I think Jack Morgan obviously is a very exciting player for me to watch. Sam Wainwright, I enjoy watching him as well. Ryan Elias is a quality player as well. In terms of the Argentinians, kind of going with continuity, aren't they? And I suppose, if it's not broken, why fix it? So if we look at that, it's Thomas Gallo, Julio Montoya, Francisco Gomez Cordela, same front row, Matias Alemano, Thomas Levanini, same second row, João Martin Gonzalez, Marcus Correa, Paulo Matera, it's the same pack. And why not? Why not? And I was very impressed with the pack, and I think that João Martin Gonzalez is somebody who is starting to get the sort of the plaudits that he deserves. A very exciting young player. We saw him sit down very rude. We saw him pickpocket a couple of turnovers last week. Very exciting player and very keen to sort of see how he goes this weekend. Gonzalo Bertino next to Santiago Carreras, Mario Bafani, Matteo Carreras, and John Cruz Malia at the back three, and then Geronimo de la Fuente and Matias Moroni in the centres. Off the bench, Ignacio Ruiz, Nael Tetes Chaparro, Eduardo Bello, Lucas Palos, Facundo Aza, Eliseo Morelos, Thomas Albanose, and Matias Orlando. So it's a very we used to Argentine styles, very familiar Argentinian styles. I think the big thing, and I really enjoy that this side can have that disciplined performance. They can run it in if they need to. There were a couple of silly penalties last week. For example, Thomas Lavanini is just renowned for giving away silly penalties. Very emotional player. But I think for the first time I've seen an Argentinian side, and I think that's what Michael Cheika's done so well, still brings the flair, can still sort of do the grunt work, but and are very defensively orientated, but I think a little bit more disciplined. And I think they've sort of found a way to kind of channel their emotions because they've always been a very sort of high emotion side so if it's going well and the crowd gets behind them and they kind of get some momentum, they become very difficult to beat. But they're also a side traditionally where if you'd score a couple of early tries, the discipline would go. They'll start becoming quite petty almost, for example, they were susceptible to conceding quite large scorelines. That's very much not the case anymore. And I think, Carreras playing nicely. I enjoy Malia. Buffetti is absolutely world class. For me, could be in the conversation for World Player of the Year. And it's a very good pack. So it's a very interesting Argentinian side. I'm very keen to see how they do at the World Cup next year, because I think they could be a genuine threat to a lot of big teams. But John, let me know what you think of this game down in the comments below. Please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon.